Hello everyone, and welcome to another Daily Muppet, another early morning edition. So my son is not feeling well, so I've been up most of the night. So I thought I'd just make a quick video. Mostly I want to comment and talk about the article from The Athletic from Larry Whitwell that is reviewing the window, discuss a few of the things that it means, get your opinions, give some takes, and then talk a little bit about Arsenal. So, the common thread, I think, from if I look at the overall Laurie Whitwell article on Manchester United's window, is that essentially some of the things we've been talking about all summer, and there's good and bad in this, right? Which is the main theme is that United pursued pretty much strictly Eric Ten Hag targets in the end, and there still seems to be a lot of, from my perspective, lack of direction within the club, and some could say that this is backing the manager, which I think is the way that Manchester United are trying to present it. They backed the manager, got him exactly what he needed. However, in a lot of senses, I would say that it's not backing the manager. It is and it isn't. I guess that's the challenge that we have to debate here, which is giving the United manager every name that he asks for and sticks with backing the manager, or is it not giving the manager the resources and tools that a massive club like Manchester United should have, with a huge scouting department, with all the ability that it has to identify, look at, watch, and see players. And my perspective on this is, I don't like the shadow that puts there. I was trying to put something that would hold my phone up, but my perspective is that it is not backing the manager in the right way. It's sort of in some ways setting the manager up to fail, because what you're essentially saying is that it's the manager's responsibility to figure out the best players in world football for his team. In which case, why do you have recruitment? Why do you have a recruitment department? Why do you have scouts? Why do you have analysts? Why do you have, video analysts? Why do you have data? If you take a look at it overall, you could have had nobody all summer except the people negotiating the actual deals with clubs, and you would have had the same outcome. That's my view on it. That's the way I see it, and that's kind of, I think, how it's not backing the manager. It's sort of, the whole narrative sets him up to fail. It sets him up to fail because it says, hey, you picked all these players. If it doesn't work out, that's on you, right? That's on the manager, not on recruitment. Like, did anybody blame... here's the thing. I'll say this. People can say what they like about this. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still blamed entirely for the team that he built, for the failures, for difficulties, for Harry Maguire when he's not doing well, for Wan-Bissaka, for all of that, for Donny van de Beek. And there's certainly some blame he has in that. But as I said in one of the videos, from an immaculate source on this is, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer might put the team together to some degree, but it's really Joel. It's Joel's team. It's Joel FC. He's the director of football. He's the scout. He does everything. And, that's where I would say that it's an improvement. This was not Joel's team this year. It is, well, it isn't, I should say. It's Ten Hag's team. This is Ten Hag's team. It was all about convincing Joel Glazer to spend on what Ten Hag wanted. And, but it is setting him up to fail by not saying, look, let's identify the best targets at the best prices. You can see in the article, it's already talking about Antony, which is understandable. But you see, it's not Ten Hag's fault. It's talking about Antony's price and doubts about him and things like that. Good. Well, if you had doubts about him, you should have not signed him and provided viable alternatives early in the window. You should have, if you decided that Darwin Nunez was the right guy, you should have bought him. If you decided that someone else was the right guy, you should have bought him. You see, it should have come from the club. It should not be on the manager to be the one who is then forced to say, yeah, I need these targets. The article also confirms, of course, that they stuck on Frankie de Jong when he was not willing to join. It says he's not willing to join. I told you, those wage things were an excuse. The whole wage deferment was an excuse. It was not the right way. It was not the right thing at all. The wage deferments were not it. It even says in that article that it was determined that it was the wage deferments, but he was not willing to join. And they stuck with it for such a long time because the club was not able to provide viable alternatives to the deal and to make it work. And so I find that the summer is, in a lot of ways, a complete failure on behalf of the club to provide the manager with the resources, the recruitment, the tools necessary to put it all together in the way that he should. And, to me, that's kind of ridiculous. And that's where I would say that it's a, even though the article I felt put it squarely on Ten Hag, because it says it's he's got, and here's the truth about it. Sure, did he get all the players that he wanted? Pretty much. At the end of the day, he got most of them. He didn't get them when and how he wanted. For most of the summer, he was made to choose between one, big signing or another. But it's all going to come down to the debate of now, if things don't go well, who's to blame? Is it Ten Hag because he got players that he wanted and it didn't work out? Or is it that the recruitment should have provided better names, better quality of signings, better fits, all of that, and made it happen that fit within the profile of what he wants? And it's going to be him that's blamed, no matter what. It's going to say if Anthony doesn't work out, it's going to be him that's blamed. And the thing is it isn't true. Now, that doesn't mean it would have worked out if things go wrong. But, as I've said many times, managers need to be protected from themselves because they're not the recruitment specialists. Jurgen Klopp wanted Julian Brandt instead of Mo Salah. Recruitment said no, Mo Salah is the better player, and they got him Mo Salah. Look how that's turned out. Would you blame Jurgen Klopp if they'd gotten Brandt? No. If you look at it in retrospect, of course, the club did their job and they provided the better player. So it's important not to be fooled by this. But of course, you see, it gives United an out, but it doesn't really give us what we need as a secondary option, which is that the club have provided viable recruitment options that will fit this manager, fit the profile, and will fit the next manager if one comes in too. And so it will be, as it said in the article, a Frankenstein of squads if it doesn't work with Erik Ten Hag. But worse than that, I think it gives him less of a chance to succeed. And you may disagree with this, but you can debate this with me in the comments. I've gone on about this since April. I think it gives Erik Ten Hag less of a chance to succeed by giving him just the names he's asked for, rather than providing constant, regular, high-class, viable names that fit the profiles he's looking for. Because it's less likely that all the names he knows and is experienced with are going to work out to be the best options in those areas, especially for the price. And the price matters because, as it said, where is the money coming from? And this was pointed out in the article as well, which I thought was an accurate point. Is it more debt? It's not coming out of the Glazers' pockets, so where does the money come from? And is the money going to be there next summer? And I can say that the answer is probably no. So it has to work out with these signings, but if it doesn't, it'll be put on Ten Hag. But then the club should have provided viable alternatives where they could have spent 50, 70 million less and had more budget available for next summer. That should have worked out. And so, don't be fooled by it. It's a challenging situation we're now in, which is if it doesn't work out, it's easy to say, well, look, Eric screwed up, got Anthony, and it didn't work, right? And I'd be happy to say, okay, fine, maybe I could see myself saying that in the future, but realize that to me that's not the if it doesn't work out. But to me that's not it's not a reflection of Erik Ten Hag as a manager. it would be a reflection of Erik Ten Hag as a recruiter, as someone who's signing on players. And the funny part about it all is that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had a lot of really good ideas for recruitment that were not followed through with. He had some not so good ideas too. And he probably made a better recruiter than he did a manager. Whereas I believe that it'll turn out in the end that Erik Ten Hag is a better coach than a recruiter, but it doesn't matter. The club cannot keep putting it on the managers to be everything to everyone, which is what Sir Alex Ferguson was, and the lack of ability to replace him with a modern structure has been a failure on the club. The positive this summer is I will say that it's less Joel's team and more Ten Hag's team than it has been any summer prior for the managers. But I think the future will look kindly back when all the truth comes out, and as I've put it out on guys like Jose Mourinho, guys like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and what they were trying to do with recruitment, and that they were not able to do. So anyway, that's my perspective on it. I think the blame has been put on Ten Hag now. If it doesn't work out, if it does, he'll get maximal credit, and that's great too. But if it doesn't, it'll be put on him, and the danger for that is we'll never get to see just the rating of Ten Hag as a coach with a proper modern structure behind him. Hopefully by next summer that's improved, but he's going to have to get some results this summer for him to be provided with any funds to work with next summer. And by then you'd hope that the recruitment team can put together the right prospects, striker, goalkeeper, right back, other midfielders, maybe it's the players on loan we've talked about, and hope it goes forward from there. The only other thing I want to talk about just regarding Arsenal, what I've heard there, early news is there is expected to be changes versus Arsenal, not the same 11. It's team news. I don't know that the team's been selected, but the early indications were that they would expect to see changes, perhaps 2 or 3 changes, but mostly in the name of one in the midfield and one in the forward line, with, I believe, the back 4 expected to be staying the same. But that is kind of the word that's there right now. Not just my thoughts this time, but the word that's there right now is you'd expect to see some changes versus Arsenal this time rather than the same 11. But we'll see. So far Ten Hag has shown some willingness to stick with the same side. Antony is able to be at the game. I think he will be. I don't know if he'll be starting. But we'll see if I get some team news later in the day. But as of now, there are expectations that there will be a couple of changes to the team. Okay, so that's all I have for now. Enjoy the rest of your days. I'll try to do a video review after the game as well. It's a huge one. I'm very excited for it. I think Old Trafford will be very raucous. There's another protest, so please support that and the Glazers Out movement. If you're around going or not, just support that. And a huge game with huge implications. 3 wins on a bounce is not bad considering how things have been. So thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications on. I'll see you in the next video.